Welcome back to the AI era, everyone. I'm Philip.
And I'm Juliet. We are so thrilled to have you join us again for, well, what's going to be another really fascinating episode.
You were so right, Juliet. Today, we are diving headfirst into episode 2, and we're exploring a topic that's been, buzzing everywhere lately, generative AI.
Oh, it's such an exciting area, isn't it? I mean, when we talk about generative AI, we're really talking about AI systems that are capable of, creating new original content. Think text, images, music, even video. It's pretty mind-blowing.
It really is. And for those of you who might have heard the term but aren't quite sure what it means, don't worry. This episode is, it's designed to give you a really clear picture. We're going to break down what generative AI is, how it actually works behind the scenes, and honestly, some of the incredible things it's already doing out there in the world.
Yeah, and we'll also touch on, some of the key players, the companies and researchers really pushing the boundaries in this space. And of course, no discussion about cutting-edge AI would be complete without talking about the ethical considerations and, some of the challenges that come along with such a transformative technology.
Exactly. So whether you're like a seasoned AI enthusiast or just curious about how this technology is reshaping our world, you're in the right place. Get ready to unveil the fascinating world of generative AI with us.
So to kick us off, Philip, let's talk about what generative AI actually is. At its core, it's about AI systems that, they're capable of creating entirely new original content.
Right. So we're not talking about just analyzing data or making predictions, which is what traditional AI often does. Here, we're talking about text, images, music, even video that didn't exist before. It's really about generation.
Exactly. It's not just classifying or predicting. Think about it. Traditional AI might look at 1 million cat pictures and tell you if a new picture is, in fact, a cat. But generative AI, it'll make a new cat picture, one you've never seen before. It's like synthesizing something novel.
And that's what's so fascinating, isn't it? It's about producing novel outputs that really mimic human-like creativity. I mean, we've seen it with, AI writing stories or composing symphonies. It's pretty wild.
It totally is. And this type of AI, it's largely based on deep learning techniques, which allows it to learn those incredibly complex patterns and structures from existing data to then create something new. And honestly, the potential for this to revolutionize fields like entertainment, design, marketing, it's just enormous.
Yeah, the impact is already being felt, and I think we're just scratching the surface. It's pretty exciting to think about.
So to really dive a bit deeper into what generative AI is, at its heart, it's an area of machine learning. And what it does is it focuses on creating new data. But here's the kicker. This new data shares really similar characteristics to the training data it's been fed.
Yeah, so it's not just like making random stuff, right? It's learning the essence of what it's seen, those underlying patterns and structures, and then, sort of building new things from that understanding. So if it's trained on pictures of flowers, it'll create a new flower that looks like it could exist.
Exactly. It's like it learns the grammar of what it's seeing or hearing or reading and then constructs entirely new coherent content. So it can generate text, images, video, music, even code. It's all about those learned patterns.
And we're seeing this in so many tools now. I mean, I'm sure most of our listeners have heard of some of these.
Oh, absolutely. Like for language models, there's GPT-3, now GPT-4, or Llama 4.0. These are the ones that can write essays or articles or, even poetry.
And then on the image side, you've got DALL-E or Leonardo AI, which is that one blew my mind when it came out. You just type in a text prompt and it generates, incredibly detailed with sometimes surreal images from scratch. It's pretty wild.
Right? And it's not just text and images. There's also Juke for music composition. It can literally compose original music pieces based on, different styles or moods. It's really quite impressive. So it's not just a theoretical concept. These are tangible tools people are using right now.
So we've talked about what generative AI is and given some really cool examples, but I think the natural next question, at least for me, is how does it actually do that? Like, what's going on under the hood?
That is the million-dollar question, isn't it? It's fascinating, really. Most of these generative AI systems, they're built on what we call probabilistic models. And there are a few key types that are really dominant right now.
Okay, like what? I always hear terms thrown around like GANs. What even is a GAN?
Yes, GANs, Generative Adversarial Networks. They're pretty ingenious, actually. Imagine you have two networks, right? Two AI systems that are kind of competing against each other. One is called the generator, and the other is the discriminator.
Okay, so the generator, it generates stuff, I'm guessing.
Exactly. It tries to create new data, say an image that looks realistic. Meanwhile, the discriminator's job is to look at that image and also look at some real images and try to figure out if what the generator made is fake or real. It's like a police detective trying to spot a forgery.
So the generator is constantly trying to fool the discriminator, and the discriminator's getting better at spotting the fakes.
Precisely. It's an ongoing game of cat and mouse. Over time, this competition makes the generator incredibly good at producing outputs that are indistinguishable from real data. It's really quite a clever setup if you think about it.
Wow, that's a brilliant concept. Okay, so GANs for like generating hyper-realistic stuff. What else is there?
Well, another big one is variational autoencoders, or VAEs. These work a little differently. They encode input data into a compressed form, sort of like a digital summary, and then they generate new data from that compressed representation. They're often used for things like image generation, but also for reconstructing data.
So it's less about a competition and more about understanding and then deconstructing?
Yeah, you could say that. It's like they learn the fundamental characteristics, the essence, and then use that understanding to create variations. And then, of course, we have transformer models. These are the ones behind, say, GPT-4, which we mentioned earlier.
Right, the language heavyweights.
Exactly. Transformers are a type of deep learning architecture that are incredibly good at processing sequences of data. So for language, that means words. For images, it could be pixels. They can analyze really long sequences and learn the context, the relationships between different parts of the data, to generate remarkably coherent and human-like content.
So if it's reading 1,000,000 books, it understands how words and sentences fit together, and then it can write a new book that makes sense. That's pretty phenomenal.
It really is. It's all about learning those intricate patterns and structures from the vast amounts of data they're trained on. And it's how they can go from just, being fed raw information to then creating something entirely new and, for all intents and purposes, original.
Okay, so we've got GANs, VAEs, transformers, these incredibly complex yet fascinating ways that generative AI actually works. But now I think the fun part, or at least the part that people can really see and interact with, is what it's actually doing in the real world, like specifically in creative industry.
Oh, absolutely, Philip. This is where it really gets exciting because it's transforming so many fields. Let's start with content creation, obviously. I mean, we've talked about text, right?
Yeah, like GPT-3.4, it's pretty good at writing.
Beyond good. It's being used to generate articles, blog posts, whole stories, poems, even social media captions now. Think about the sheer volume of content it can produce quickly in various styles. It's mind-boggling.
So for a small business, maybe they don't have a dedicated content writer. They could potentially use this to generate, product descriptions or maybe even some marketing copy.
Exactly, or for journalists, maybe helping them draft initial reports or summaries. It's a tool to augment, not necessarily replace, or at least not yet.
Right. Okay, so text is big. What about art and design? Because that's another area where I've seen some pretty wild stuff.
Oh, absolutely, Philip. AI-generated artwork is becoming a massive trend. We've talked about DALL-E, right? The ability to just type in a text prompt and it generates an original image for you. It's not just art for art's sake either. It's being used in graphic design, fashion design, even architecture for preliminary concepts.
So you could tell it, I want a brutalist building with a waterfall coming out of it, and it would just give you an image?
Pretty much. The fidelity and the creativity that these models are achieving now is just phenomenal. And it's not just static images. We're also seeing it in, concept art for games, for films.
That's pretty cool. And then I hear a lot about music composition too.
Yeah, music is another really fertile ground for generative AI. AI is actually quite capable of composing original music. There are generative models like OpenAI's MuseNet, for example. These models can generate music in a huge variety of genres, anything from classical to contemporary.
Wow, so it can write a new symphony or a pop song?
Potentially, yeah. It learns the patterns, the harmonies, the rhythms from vast musical datasets, and then it can create something entirely new that adheres to those learned structures. It's really opening up new avenues for musicians and composers, offering tools to experiment and break creative blocks.
So it's not just copying existing songs, it's creating new ones based on the style it learned.
Precisely. It's not about plagiarism, it's about learning the underlying rules of music theory and composition and then applying them in novel ways. It's quite something.
That's truly incredible. So we've covered text, art, music. What about the big screens like film and animation? Is AI making its way into Hollywood yet?
Oh, it absolutely is, Philip. Generative AI has the potential to, believe it or not, create entire scenes, animations, or even, and this is where it gets a little controversial, deepfake videos.
Deepfakes? Like mimicking actors or directors?
Exactly, mimicking the style of famous directors or artists, creating new footage that looks incredibly authentic. It's a powerful tool, but it also, comes with its own set of concerns, which I'm sure we'll get to later. But from a creative standpoint, imagine the possibilities for special effects or even independent filmmakers.
That's wild. So you could essentially have like a new scene from a classic movie in the style of its original director. That's a bit mind-bending.
Right? And it's not just about creating new footage. It can help with things like automatic rotoscoping or generating background elements. It streamlines the production process quite a bit.
Okay, film and animation, check. What about video games? Because games are all about creating immersive worlds, characters, stories. That seems like a perfect fit for generative AI.
You hit the nail on the head, Philip. Generative AI is really making waves in video game development. It's being used to generate game environments, for instance. Think about vast procedurally generated landscapes that feel unique every time you play.
So not just fixed maps, but almost infinite world.
Precisely. And not just environments, but characters too. AI can help create unique character models, textures, even variations of NPCs. And beyond that, it's impacting game narratives.
Narratives? Like new storylines on the fly?
Exactly! It can help generate quests, dialogue, or even entire branching storylines, offering more dynamic, procedurally generated gaming experiences. It means every playthrough could be genuinely different.
That's pretty cool. So it's not just about what you see, but what you experience within the game world. It adds so much replayability.
A huge amount. It's about making games feel alive and reactive, constantly surprising the player with new content or scenarios. It's definitely a game changer, no pun intended.
Wow, so it sounds like generative AI is just everywhere. From writing to art to film to games. It makes me wonder, though, who are the big players in this space? Who's really pushing the boundaries here?
That's a great question, Philip. There are a few key organizations and companies that are really at the forefront. I mean, probably the most recognizable name when we talk about generative AI, especially in text, is OpenAI.
Oh yeah, like ChatGPT, right?
Exactly. They are the creators of GPT-3 and GPT-4, which are, some of the most advanced generative language models out there. They're capable of generating human-like text, code, and even simulating really complex conversations. They've really set a high bar.
They certainly have. What about others? I hear DeepMind mentioned a lot in the AI world. Are they in this space too?
Absolutely. DeepMind is a huge player. They're well known for their work on AI-powered games and simulations, but they also delve deep into generative models, even in areas like protein folding. So they're exploring very different applications.
Interesting. So, not just the creative stuff we've been talking about, but also scientific applications. Any other notable names?
Yeah, definitely. There's Runway ML, for example. They focus specifically on creative tools for generating images, video, and text using machine learning. So they're really empowering artists and designers with these tools.
So, making it more accessible for creatives, essentially.
Precisely. And then we can't forget about Google Brain, specifically their team behind Magenta. Magenta is an open source project that's all about exploring the intersection of AI and creativity, primarily in music and art generation. So they're contributing a lot to the creative side of things too.
It's really fascinating how many different entities are involved, and each with their own unique focus, whether it's language, scientific research, or directly enabling artists. It's quite a vibrant ecosystem, isn't it?
It really is, and it's moving so fast, which is both exciting and, well, a little daunting too. Because as we develop these powerful tools, there are, of course, a lot of ethical considerations that come into play.
That's such a good point, Juliet, because while all this innovation is incredible, and we've talked about how generative AI can create amazing things, there's also this whole other side to it, right? The ethical concerns, the challenges. I mean, what are some of the big ones we should be thinking about?
Oh, absolutely. It's crucial we talk about this. One of the primary concerns, and it's something that comes up with a lot of AI, is bias in the generated content. You see, since generative AI models are trained on, real-world data, they inevitably inherit biases that are present in that data.
So if the data they learn from has a bias, then the AI's output will reflect that.
Exactly. And this can lead to the generation of really biased or even inappropriate content, which is, a huge problem. It's not just about what it can create, but what it should create, or rather what we allow it to create.
That's a serious one. And speaking of things that are not quite what they seem, I immediately think of misinformation and deepfakes. That's a huge ethical minefield, isn't it?
It really is. Generative models, as powerful as they are, can be used to create fake images, videos, and audio that are incredibly difficult to distinguish from reality. This, of course, raises massive concerns about trust and authenticity in digital media. It's getting harder and harder to tell what's real and what's not.
Which is terrifying, frankly. But on a slightly different note, something I've heard debated a lot is intellectual property. If an AI generates, say, a song or a piece of art, who actually owns the rights to it? Is it the person who created the AI or the AI itself?
Oh, that's a very complex question, Philip. It's an active area of legal and philosophical debate right now. As AI generates content that so closely mimics human creativity, the question of ownership truly becomes murky. Is it the creator of the AI? Is it the user who prompted the AI? Or, as you said, is it the AI itself, hypothetically speaking? We don't really have clear answers yet, and laws are struggling to keep up.
Yeah, it feels like we're definitely in uncharted territory there. And then there's the big one that always comes up with automation and AI, job displacement. Are we looking at a future where creative jobs like writers or artists are, replaced by AI?
It's a valid concern, for sure. With generative AI capable of producing content at scale, there is a real potential for job displacement in creative industries. Think about journalism, art, entertainment. If an AI can write articles or compose music very quickly and efficiently, it does raise questions about the future of those roles.
So it's not just manufacturing jobs anymore, it's extending into fields we traditionally thought were uniquely human.
Precisely. It's a shift, and it's something we as a society need to grapple with and prepare for. It's not about if, but how we adapt.
You're absolutely right. It's not just adapting, but also, seeing the other side of that coin. Because as much as there are these significant challenges and ethical considerations, generative AI also opens up like a whole world of exciting potential, doesn't it? What do you see on the horizon for this technology?
Oh, definitely, Philip. It's not all doom and gloom. In fact, the future potential is truly exciting. One of the big things I think about is what you could call creativity at scale. As the technology just keeps improving, generative AI is really likely to democratize content creation.
Democratize? What do you mean by that exactly?
Well, imagine anyone, literally anyone, being able to produce really high quality work without needing years of specialized skills or expensive software, whether it's writing, design, even music. The barriers to entry for creative expression could just plummet.
Wow, so it's not about replacing, but empowering almost, like giving everyone a powerful creative tool.
Precisely. And that leads into another exciting area, collaborative creativity. Instead of AI just doing its own thing, it can serve as an incredible tool to enhance human creativity. Think about a human artist working alongside an AI to create, entirely new forms of art, or a writer using an AI to brainstorm ideas, or even just to overcome that dreaded writer's block.
Oh, that's a cool thought. A real partnership, not just replacement. I like that. And then there's personalization, right? We already see bits of it, but generative AI could take that to a whole new level, couldn't it?
Absolutely. We're talking about ultra-personalized content creation. Imagine tailored news feeds that are not just curated, but actually generated specifically for your interests, or personalized learning materials that adapt to your unique pace and style, or even entertainment recommendations that aren't just lists, but whole new experiences crafted for you. It's almost bespoke digital content.
That's wild to think about. From the mundane to the truly groundbreaking. And, I've heard some buzz about AI's potential in research too. That seems like a massive leap.
It really is. Generative AI could potentially generate research papers, formulate new hypotheses, or even design experiments. Think about the acceleration that could bring to fields like medicine and science. It could help researchers discover things so much faster than traditional methods allow.
So it's not just creative arts, but also hardcore scientific discovery. It's like truly a universal tool.
It really is. It's truly a universal tool, Philip.
Wow. So as we wrap up this episode of the AI era, I think it's pretty clear that generative AI is, it's a groundbreaking technology. It has this incredible potential to revolutionize creativity, business, technology, just about everything, really.
Yeah, absolutely. And as it keeps evolving, it's going to keep raising important ethical and social questions, which we talked about quite a bit today. But, it also offers these incredibly exciting opportunities for innovation and deep collaboration between humans and machines.
Right. So in this episode, we really tried to explore the basics of generative AI, its fascinating applications across so many different fields, the key players who are pushing its boundaries, and of course, the very real challenges and considerations that we need to address as it moves forward.
It's been quite a journey through the generative AI landscape. Thank you so much for joining us, Philip, and to all our listeners for tuning in. Remember to follow us on Instagram.
Yes, a huge thank you to everyone listening, and make sure you subscribe to the AI Era on YouTube or wherever you get your podcasts so you don't miss our next episode, where we'll continue to dive deep into the fascinating world of artificial intelligence. We'll see you next time.